Finally, the weather is broken. And right now it's toward the end of January. I think we're 28th or somewhere in there. 4th of January, first we got sleet, then we got ice, and then we got snow, and then it's like 8 inches, and it was just a mess and cold. And the bees have been hunkered. I mean, hunkered down. Yesterday and today are the first times I've seen them really coming out and checking out the world. I'm pretty tickled that I'm seeing activity on really all my hives. These two guys aren't in the sun yet, so they'll come out this afternoon. We're gonna put candy boards on today. Normally I try to put candy boards on in mid-December. I do a Heft test. I did that video a couple weeks ago. If my Heft test says I have a light hive, which I have had a couple on some other bee yards, I throw a candy board on right away. I hefted these. I thought they're all well within the amount of honey they're gonna need to get through the year, or get through the year, at least to get through this time. I will do another quick lift, but I'm probably just gonna put the candy boards on anyway because it's a good insurance. It gives me the insurance that if they start getting warmer, they start going through more stores, they've got plenty of food to get by. It doesn't hurt to have them on, and only takes a few minutes. So we're gonna do that today. I'm gonna do a quick Heft test on this. I'll show you that. This hive was a little bit light, and I'm hoping that when I do the test, I don't find out that it's much lighter. But that'll kind of give us an idea of how the condensing is done to them. I'm concerned about this hive very much though, because as you can see, there are a pile of dead bees. That's never a good sign. I'm seeing some activity here, but I'm also seeing more and more dead bees. So I'm gonna have to clean out the bottom board on that too. So I'm gonna do the Heft test real quick. This rock needs to go over here, and let's see what we can get. So last time was at 42.3. It seems light, but it's really not. But let's see where they stand now, just to give me a good idea of where they're at. Let's zero that out and lift. Okay, so 41.6. So since I did this, unless I weighed it completely wrong the last time, they've only gone through about probably 2 pounds of honey since I weighed it last, which was about 5-6 weeks ago. Again, I owe that to the condensing hives not consuming as much food. We're going to start down here and work our way backwards to do what we can here to put these on. First, I've talked about this in other videos. This is the best money I ever spent by far, because I set everything on this and I don't have to lift. I'm on a little angle. Hopefully we don't go down into the dirt. We'll see. Let's get this off. And we'll put this over here. If I carefully lift this, I don't have to retape it. Keep my tape handy. And this is just simply foam insulation. A little water, not gonna worry about that. Hey, here's the tricky part. I've got to take the quilt board off, but I'm looking at the quilt box. Dry, that's what I want. Completely dry. Again, this is just insurance. This is a R value. Please watch my previous videos on insulating and condensing hives, and you're going to see that the bees will be just fine in condensing hives. Okay, so now I've got to take the tape off. Here we will retape this because I don't want there to be any air leaks. Toss the tape. We're not done with winter by any stretch of the imagination, so I will definitely be putting more tape on these to seal them off. But first, get our candy boards. Again, other video of how I make candy boards. If you want to check that out, it may be a little late for you in the season, so we'll see. So here's what I have to do. There are bees like crazy underneath this, and they're hanging onto the bottom of it. I'm going to take this off. We're going to move it over here, put it on an angle so I don't lose any bees. I may lose a few. I put the candy board back on. Candy board goes on top. Any additional bees will just shake at the front, and then we should be good to go. So let's see what we got here. And no, I really avoid smoke at this time of year. It's I think a real detriment. These bees are pretty calm. In fact, I'm going to change my mind here. And this quilt board is just going to go directly on top. No sense moving it. And we've got 6 frames of bees. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. They are a little lethargic today. So let's put this back on and we'll close them up. You can see that there's a little bit of a gap right here. And I might make sure that we close all those up. Okay, we got to go and fix that in the front. Fix this on the side because I completely missed and did the wrong one. And I've got these hives way too close. That's good. Let's see how tight that is. You know what? I don't even need to tape these. I am simply going to run a couple pieces of tape to keep it from sliding around. But I don't need to go through a whole tape job on this. And then it just makes it easier for me to get in and check it. I will be putting small amounts of pollen patty on these in the coming weeks. Even though I've tried to eliminate hive beetles, there's still some in there. And man, pollen patties are hive beetle breeding grounds. Okay, insulation. Back on top. Inner cover. Back on. Insulation. Back on. Bungee. Sort of back on. So we got to go around front and fix that. But I also need to adjust to make sure that the bees can get in and out. So let's take that bungee, move it down a bit, and then that block. This is back on, covered up, and bada boom, bada bing. First hive is done. I'm gonna go down to the end and do this hive. See how these guys are doing. Man, it's still slippery out here and the ground is frozen. Not a fan of winter. Okay. This goes over here. We're gonna grab another candy board. Off with my top wrap. This is one of my few remaining doubles, so I can get right to the quilt board, which makes my life easier there. So again, let's see what we've got. It's a little more moisture in there, but not bad. And if you want moisture, you want to see it in the edges. You don't want to see it in the middle. This is a packed hive. Look at that. I'm not going to leave them open very long, but this is a great opportunity to take a peek, see how they're doing. We're talking 10 frames of hives, 10 frames of bees. At this point, let's cover them back up. I don't want that heat to lose too much here, even though we're going to be around 60 today. That's still colder than I want to keep them open for. And there we go. We're going to tape this up. This is when I give a shout out to my beekeeping buddies at the garden club, Scott and Karen. I hope you guys are watching this because I want to tell you, they were a big help with me yesterday out at the farm. And I've known them for a couple years now, and they become darn good beekeepers on their own. So it's always fun to watch people start out and then just become great beekeepers. And we are not tight up here. Oh, I feel bad for you, but that's just the way it goes. There will always be collateral damage, no matter how much you try not to. And done. It's that quick, that simple. Okay, I'm gonna whip through these other 4 hives, or 3 hives, what am I at? These are the 3 hives, and then I'm gonna come back and open this up for you so you've got an idea. We don't need to see anymore. You see how I do this? It's not really tough. You wanna be quick though, because you don't want your bees to get cold. And obviously you wanna do it on a fairly warm day. And that's what we've got today. So, while I'm getting these other hives done, and before I come back to this one, if you wouldn't mind going down and hitting that subscribe button, that would really help me out. I'd appreciate that very much. And likes are great, but let's talk about it in the comments. You know, one thing I'm really enjoying about this whole experience is how much I'm meeting and talking to beekeepers from like all over the country, all over the world about different techniques, different things that are going on. The conversations have been great. And as I always say, if you ask a group of 5 beekeepers a question about beekeeping, you're going to get 10 answers. That's kind of the fun of it too. We all learn from each other. Okay, I'm going to get on to this hive in a few minutes and I'll be back. This is just a quick slide in. I'm on my second to last hive before I get down into that one I'm worried about, but this is what you call a really active hive. And now you're getting a little bit pissy, so we're going to cover you back up. You guys go about your day. It's funny too, because this hive, I felt going into the winter was going to be one of my weakest. It just goes to prove, you know, you never know. Okay, everything else is done. Let's take a peek at these guys. The activity in the front says it's fair. I guess we're going to see. I don't know why I've got a bungee around this. I must not have had tape originally. That's what it looks like. It's taped on the inside. I see. Okay, let's pull that. Move this. That's a bit of a mess, but let's see what's going on here. Ooh, that is a really old quilt box. Okay, let's see what's going on here. I'm a lot concerned, but we're... Obviously, there's no issue. I don't know what the die-off was, but they're looking good, and there's still a ton of food over here, and they're feisty, so that's a good thing. A little defensive, or maybe it's not a good thing. I might want to rethink that. Okay, so not concerned. They are still a little light, but now they've got an 8-pound candy board on them, and I will come back again. Everybody's going to get pollen patties, and then as soon as it warms up and I don't have to worry about it, everybody's going to get feeders, and I'm making new 1.5 gallon feeders for everybody this year. And here's the difference in the feeders I'm going to build and that I've come up with is that they will sit on top of a hive with and fit underneath a hive super, so I don't have to devote a hole deep to them, and I don't want them sitting out in the open because just, you know, bottom boards fill up with water if it rains. You got all the such issues. You got other critters that are going to go up there. Not going to happen. I've got it designed just the way I want it, and you're going to see that in a video in a week or two. Okay, let's get moving here. Get everything tightened down, bungee, and I'm going to save time by saying thank you very much. And I'll be doing some pollen patties here too, and I'll show you how that happens. So thanks for watching, you know, just working the bees a little bit and talking about candy boards. If you haven't subscribed, please do. That helps me out a lot. And I appreciate the support. We're getting on with it. I got some woman coming over to buy some honey. Imagine that. I love it. Take care. See you soon.